And we are live. Welcome to Kauffman Writes, your daily dose of writing inspiration, strategy, discussion, advice, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of procrastination. But don't worry, I won't tell anyone. And you found yourself on Character Fiction Friday. Welcome to the stream. I'm Kauffman, and I'm on a journey to help writers and show them that the entire writing process can be fun. All right, so we're going to be getting straight into it with Fridays. Happy Friday. So, by the way, if you're watching on the replay, I totally got you covered. You can actually go back because the time codes will be added after the stream, and that way you can hop to the parts of the video that bring you the most value. All right. Hey, what's up, John? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, my friend. Happy Friday, the start to a new weekend. Hopefully, a good series of writing sprints and hopefully some good writing and creativity. Hey, welcome, Marta. Welcome back from Poland. Great idea to do time codes. Yeah, I'll usually add the time codes at the end of the stream, so that way anyone watching on the replay can skip through the either the questions or the discussion or the writing sprint, depending on the value that they're looking for. A lot of these streams tend to do well on the replay. So, all right, excellent. So I want to hop straight into popular characters that resonate. Like, what a great thing. So, for Character Fridays, like, what better thing to talk about? And let's chat about some really fun characters. Now, real quick, let's highlight some of the things that we went over on our past Character Fridays, right? So, we touched upon character development, right? And we did a little bit of a workshop on how do you develop your character. I gave a very all right. Looks like the thing was freezing up. Well, we'll see how this does with the internet today. So let's see. So we did character development a couple of weeks ago, which was a great workshop. And then last week we touched into a character creation technique. On developing and putting my characters together, which is I was like, let's chat about like popular characters and why do popular characters work, right? So let's dig into some really popular characters that have been on our mind lately. Let me hop into the comments. Yeah, for some reason the something's up with the internet, which is interesting. Yeah. Originally, I thought that it might be the stream, the computer, but it's definitely the internet here, which is a little out of my control, unfortunately. So we'll just do our best. We will do our absolute best. Awesome. So when I think about popular characters, what are ones that resonate for you guys? So this week, and I've really been thinking about All right, so I'm going to try to change some of the settings on the back end and see if this will make a difference. If that makes a difference or not. Okay. So let's see. Hey, welcome to the stream, Amateli. The scrolling banner at the bottom doesn't freeze when your video does. It's kind of funny. You're like, all right, well, at least we know StreamYard's still working. Thanks, John. You know what? Streaming for a full year. We're making it work, one stream at a time. Okay. And then let's see. Martin, we have such a wardrobe that you can give away your old books and take something that is interesting for you. Oh, you know. I gave away 6 books and took 8 new ones. Well, that sounds cool. That sounds like a great way to get new new books for your collection. Hey, welcome, LeMay. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today, I wanted to touch upon some character development, right? So what are actually popular characters? What are popular like that really resonate with each of you? Let's see. For me, because I was thinking of it as so I definitely had Darth Vader on my mind this weekend because yeah, I'm not sure why it's such an issue today. It's actually kind of interesting. Over the past, I want to say like over the past 2 weeks, the internet for some reason's gotten like worse, and I don't know why because nothing's changed. Hmm. Maybe more people are coming to the streams. Slowly but surely. Well, we'll see if we're able to chat today about characters or not. Do the writing gods want me to talk about characters? People like to deconstruct Superman and other lawful good characters. You know, I'm actually not a Superman fan. I've never really been big on DC characters, so it's not like I'm just not as familiar. When I think about DC characters, I would say Batman. I might know Batman a little bit, and obviously, like we know the tropes, and we know the popular tropes behind Superman and Batman, but not too much. I tend to know a lot more fantasy. I know Marvel much better. Um, Obviously, Star Wars is a good one. I know some of my favorite ones. Let's see. I would say We're back slowly but surely. It might just be one of those days for some reason. It sounds like what I might have to do is I'll probably have to see if I can invest in my own router internet. It sounds like to get guaranteed good stream quality. That might be my only solution. So, as I think about popular characters, right? So I thought about a couple of franchises that I really like. I'm just going to come up with a full-on list. So I'm going to just go Darth Vader, Gandalf, Voldemort. Let's see. And then what are some popular characters you got? So we have Superman is a great one. You hate Marvel. Marta, you hate Marvel. Mommy tell let's see. I would have to list Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk is a good one. I've like totally been watching some of the new Star Trek stuff. Captain Kirk. And let's see. Miss Maple, Sherlock Holmes is a great one. Miss Marple. Who's Miss Marple? I'm not familiar. Sherlock Holmes is absolutely a great one. Captain Nemo, yes. Actually, when I think about those classic characters, I think of Dorian Gray. I love the story of Dorian Gray is one of my favorites. When I think about those like types of tales. Draco Malfoy is a well-designed character. Definitely a very good antithesis to Harry Potter. Draco Malfoy. Yes. Draco Malfoy. Misunderstood. Understood or misunderstood? That's the question. So, as we think about different characters, why do we like them? What are things that stand out? When I think about a couple of these ones, I would say Marple is the only one I'm not as familiar with. And I think about what things work with each of these characters. I think about Darth Vader. He has the mask. He has like the iconic mask with a evil. He's like an evil character with a redemption arc. Gandalf. He is the wise. He's just like that wise stereotypical wizard, right? Wise stereotypical wizard who always knows, and then he comes back as Gandalf the White, who he has his rebirth. Let's see, Voldemort. Why do people like Voldemort? Because he's like this. He's like evil. Not only is he evil, he's the antithesis to love. Which is what a Harry really represents in Harry Potter. To love, his disfigured shape with his disfigured face, along with his Avada Kedavra spells. Draco Malfoy. I think because Draco Malfoy represents the bad boy. I think that's one of the reasons why Draco Malfoy is a well-liked character. You said misunderstood. I would agree with that. Misunderstood. He plays the bad boy type really well, right? He wants to be liked. It seems like he wants to be liked by either his classmates, wants to be liked by classmates and or his parents. So does Draco Malfoy actually want to be liked by people, or does he just have daddy issues? I think Draco Malfoy probably has daddy issues. Whereas Harry Potter most definitely has mommy issues. So there's once again, two contrasting ideas and two contrasting character types. Why do we like Superman? Superman is iconic. He's that flying. He has like that. He's like that. I'm stumbling over my own words. He's that iconic vision of the man flying through the air with a cape. with incredible superpowers and a love interest who is head over heels for him, and a love interest. Similar to, let's see, the first thing that gave him never appreciated by anyone. Yep. Yeah, Marta. I'd agree with all that with that for Harry Potter. The first person that gave him appreciation was Voldemort. Not into the Harry Potter thing. And let's see. So Superman, iconic vision. And what's interesting about Superman, right, is his weakness, right? The weakness to kryptonite. And so I think what I really like to solidify, right? When we think about popular characters, I always like to boil it down into what's that initial thing that really attracts us to the character, because there's an iconic thing about them. I look at the iconic thing as the surface level, and then of course you can deconstruct the character by looking in and digging a little deeper into who the character is, what philosophy the character represents. Let's see, Captain Kirk. So Star Trek is a good one. Been watching some of the new Star Trek stuff. Can be fun. Where no man has gone before. A space explorer, unafraid to tackle the unknown. Although I think from Star Trek, Spock would probably be more of mine. I would definitely say Spock would probably be a bit more of my favorite personally. Let's see. Superman does have a dual role, right? So we think about the hero who saves the day, and then his normal everyday person, Kent Clark. Dual role, Kent Clark. And this has actually become very popular, very common for a lot of for the superhero trope, right? Hiding the superhero identity and then their normal persona. Another character that does almost like an identical thing is Spider-Man. Spider-Man follows a very similar a role in terms of the boy by day, hero by night, so to speak. Let's say responsible. Yep. And one of the reasons we like superheroes, right, is because we know that they care about saving people. They care about doing the right thing, right? So superheroes tend to represent a question of morality. Superman represents morality. They represent positive actions. They're selfless. These are traits that we look to. And it's the same. It's actually interesting because it's the same reasons that we look to villains for the complete other side of it, right? So we look to villains like what are some? So like we look to villains like Darth Vader. We look to villains like Voldemort. We look to villains because there's a power trip, and we want to experience that power trip with them. Not only that, they have pure confidence, right? They're confidently able to be themselves despite disfigurement, despite evilness, despite whatever is the thing that led them down that path. They're able to be exactly who they are, usually to a fault as a villain. John, I like yours. Boy by day, hero by leotard. I know some of the superhero characters. I remember there was a superhero kind of like spoofish movie a while back called Kick-Ass, which like I absolutely loved because they made fun of that idea. John, I like Spock because he could pinch someone, make them go to sleep. I know, right? So like Spock with his like Vulcan, like the Vulcan touch. And I mean, like, Spock was a great character because he represents logic, right? Spock represents pure logic, but then his character arc is how, for a society which revolves around logic, he's partly human, So how does he balance being human when he should be guided by logic? That moral debate of logic versus emotion is very, very, it's something that any of us could relate to. Marta, you got your Avada Kedavra over here. Avada Kedavra. Yep, Kirk is a good one. Kirk leads by example. Let's see, where to put Kirky boy. Kirk, he does lead by example, right? Leads by example. He expects respect and loyalty. And his crew usually return the favor, right? He usually has a type of crew who responds accordingly because that's the type of leader he is. Crew responds accordingly. Now, for anybody who has worked any type of job where they have to work with the team, something that you could relate with, right? Because you could relate with having or wanting a leader or being a leader who wants respect and loyalty and acts nobly with their crew in mind. It's that same ideology. Let's see. I think with each character, you can probably boil down their character persona into a philosophy. I like to really understand what's the philosophy behind a character, because if we understand the philosophy, we understand that at heart, we connect with philosophies and messages. So when you're creating your next character, and of course, like there's all the things you can go do to create a character with the character bio and the profile and writing the character and exercises and all the different things, right? But those are the things you do to create the character. When you're thinking about how do you create a really great character, and you want this character to really like be impactful, you want them to be awesome, you want them to do all the things that you care about, right? How do you pick the right character? And I'm a huge proponent of picking a character based off of philosophy, right? Because we as people, we connect with ideas and we resonate with philosophies that we care about. The more basic the philosophy, the easier it is to get more people to care, right? That's why when there's characters who literally represent love, hate, those are easier emotions because we can identify with those core emotions more easily. Let's see. So I know I touched on, I would say Darth Vader probably represents a redemption. Here, I'd say it represents power and redemption. Let's see. What are some that you guys? Voldemort was easy. Voldemort's antithesis to love, because Harry Potter is very clearly a character that is about love and friendship and peace and happiness. Let's see. Big ones. What does Superman represent? Morality. Yeah. Yep. Superman, I would say, definitely represents. I kind of put Superman into very like stereotypical superhero category because I'm not as familiar with his backstory. But when we think about superhero, just how the superhero genre has evolved, Superman is one of the originals, right? So a lot of the superhero stuff that exists today, Superman is a classic for sure. Let's see. Captain Kirk's philosophy would definitely be I would say with Kirk, I would say that his core philosophy is probably leading through I don't know if tough, maybe leading through tough love, leading because he leads through love. So all of his actions, he cares about his crew, right? He cares about Spock. The reasons he's a great captain is because he cares and it's reciprocated. So I would probably argue that at heart, Kirk is a well-led captain because he leads through love, as an example. Leading through love, leading through following the prime directive, right? The prime directive is like a huge mythology in the Star Trek universe. Leading through the prime directive is a great one. The prime directive, absolutely an inspiration. And like think about like a concept, right? For a story. The prime directive is this like entity organization, if I recall, that they all end up having to abide by to keep the timelines in check, I believe. It's been a second with the prime directive, but I think what it does, I think it's a world building. I'm almost positive it's a world building thing. Spock's easy. Logic versus emotion. I'm not as sure. Let's see. I'm telling you. You were saying Miss Marple. I'm just not as familiar with her character, so I can't really speak to it. Oh, that's right. That's what it was. Prime directive is non-interference with any society, right? That's right. Interesting. That's right. I would say it's like with developing societies, right? So it's like because they end up interfering a lot, but the main prime directive is they're not supposed to interfere with non-developed societies. Let's see. Sherlock Holmes is another classic, right? Sherlock Holmes is prime. He's actually another good example of logic, but his is a little bit more that logic and reason can solve any problem. Logic and reason will solve any problem, right? No matter how big or how small. Let's say there. Kirk does. Yep, I completely agree with both of you. Kirk does what is right even when he breaks the rules to do it. Yep, yep. They were there just to witness, but not to influence the cultures. They come into contact with. That was the prime directive. That absolutely sounds right. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like I have to brush up on my like Star Trek mythology again. I think I've seen like a lot of sporadic of the Star Trek shows over the years. Mm. Let's see what other popular characters. Holmes, brilliant, detail oriented, has a defect of an addiction, right? What like perfect thing with characters? Perfect thing with characters, right? Characters. Now this goes into a weakness, right? Defect. Now, each of these characters, I know I didn't touch too much into like the weaknesses of them, but each of them have weaknesses, right? If they didn't have weaknesses, they wouldn't be believable. Right? Like Superman is kryptonite, obviously. Captain Kirk's weakness is also his greatest strength, right? His crew is his weakness, right? Because he's not willing to let his crew die. And let's see, other weaknesses. Voldemort's weakness is easy. It's his Horcruxes. It's his soul. His soul is the weakness. The soul is a extension of love. Darth Vader's weakness is actually his humanity, right? It's his human side, which is his weakness, which him coming back and redeeming himself is actually what kills Darth Vader and returns him to Anakin. Let's see, each of these characters. Spock's weakness is. You could argue that Spock's weakness is probably emotion, but it's also his strength. A lot of times, what we see with strength, or a lot of times, what we see with weaknesses, is there's a single trait that is both used as their strength and their weakness. And that's actually true for us a lot of the time. When you think about ourselves as individuals, and we think about like what's one of our weaknesses that we struggle with, sometimes our weaknesses are also our strengths. And like I can think about for myself with my let me think. I would say for myself, one of my weaknesses was originally, I would say it was my empathy. I always thought of my being too empathetic and too kind allowed people to take advantage of me in my early days. So I saw it as a weakness, but it's also a strength because I was great at connecting with people. And I learned through communication and clear boundaries that there's ways to balance both strength and the weakness of empathy. Absolutely. And I think that's why we relate with certain characters because they have philosophies, right? They have weaknesses, they have strengths, but they feel believable. Even if they're a captain traveling through through space in a very, very distant future, which we'll never see, right? But it's the characters in these universes. We generally don't like a lot of the times we tend to fall in love with characters first to get attached to these stories, and then the character's journey is what gets us motivated about the stories 9 times out of 10. That's actually a reason that television and streaming, there's a huge reason that streaming has been such a predominant form of entertainment and media out of this past decade because TV, we're able to follow a character's journey over a longer period than just 2 to 3 hours. And I think clearly we've shown as a society that we care. We like binging TV. We like watching characters. We like watching them go, be challenged, and put through obstacles. And we prefer that over a 2 to 3 hour viewing experience in general. Whereas movies tend to be a little bit more about thematic and about an idea and how do I explore that idea in 2 to 3 hours. You brought up a good one, a good, very good doctoral show. House was a really great character. I would say of doctor shows when I think of ones when I think of procedurals, Doctor House was probably one of like the stronger um, characters from a procedural, right? Because he was an asshole. It was like what who doesn't love the asshole character? But his redeeming quality is that he's extremely intelligent, right? There's a reason that a lot of times in procedural shows, in comedies, we have these protagonists, these main characters who are kind of out of touch with reality and they act like a child. But because of whatever job they do or whatever they've been called to do, they're good at it. So the world is able to balance them being a child with them being good at the thing we do. And that creates great entertainment. That's actually a very, very common character type that we see these days. My daughter Kirk's weaknesses is libido. Absolutely. I remember a while back, I had this must have been like, I think maybe a year or two ago. I went back and I rewatched the original Star Trek series. I'm just like, it's just so funny. It's so funny. It it's good to go back and watch old series, and I love to see how television and how writing has grown over time. But you can always see when specific episodes are made, and you can see how it's influenced by our whatever the current culture was at that day and age. Crazy. Yeah, you're right, John. With House, House was a much different age of television, right? That must have been I think House was 15 years ago. I think House was definitely 10 to 15 years ago. Yeah, Hugh Laurie is a great actor. He's absolutely a great actor. I've seen him in a number of shows over time, but I think House is still always my favorite with him in it. Right? So you see, John, maybe, right? Strength and weakness. Hence probably another reason why I resonate with you. Absolutely. Sometimes we just maybe we just feel too strongly. Let's see. Miss Marple is a Victorian lady who helps solve crimes, recognizes people are the same all over. Yeah, that's very good action, Miss Marple. Victorian lady, people are the same all over. I love that. That's great. That's awesome. I'm gonna add that. Let's see. Victorian lady who helps solves crimes. I'm realizing we have like a lot of like male. We have a lot of like male characters. Give me some good like other female like heroes. There's some really great female heroes out there. I need a good balance here. That's like I have to think right now. When I think about female characters that I loved Daenerys from Game of Thrones. I absolutely loved her character up until the end, so I'm just gonna stick with the books. Let's see. I want to think about what's I'm like thinking about Hermione Granger, actually from Harry Potter, was a great female character. Very, very good one. Thinking off the top of my head, strong female characters. Marta, you weren't a fan of her. It's funny. It was a while back. Me and my friends, when we were working in Hollywood, we met that actress. What's her name? Emma Watson. She was funny. Dude, Uhura was a badass. Uhura was absolutely a badass. Thank you for Uhura was absolutely a badass. Hands down, agreed. Female characters. 11 Stranger Things. I always actually like to call out when we have younger actresses or actors who are actually able to like portray characters very well. Two that came to mind was 11 from Stranger Things. I think she did well. And then the other actress who did Last of Us, that actress also did a really good job. But she was also in Game of Thrones as well. But I would say Elle from Last of Us. Both are very, very strong characters. John, I'm glad you brought that up. Like Logan was a great movie, but I absolutely loved that character. It was actually really unfortunate that the mutants that spin off with the kids didn't do that well. And I think they struggled with a lot of production and marketing problems until I think it was Young Mutants finally came out. It was rather unfortunate because she was actually a really cool character in Logan. Bellatrix Lestrange was absolutely a badass, right? But I think one of the things that I loved with Bellatrix was her demise moment when she's finally beaten by the mom. I'm like blanking on Miss Weasley. Bellatrix is absolutely strange. Yep. Who doesn't love Helena Bonham Carter, right? Always it's with the whole Tim Burton crew of always playing the creepy characters. Golden Girls, absolutely some phenomenal actresses, phenomenal characters. Absolutely. Let's see. John, I haven't seen Fred Green Tomatoes, but I haven't seen that one. Ellie from Contact. Mommy, are you talking about Contact? Was that the movie? I'm trying to think. Julia Sugarbaker, absolutely agreed. Let's see, Marcella. By the way, Marcella, welcome to the stream. Let's see. My favorite female from Harry Potter was Luna Lovegood. Yeah, how can we like forget like about Luna Lovegood? Actually, Luna Lovegood as a character was probably a stronger female character than Hermione Granger, actually, because Luna Lovegood was quirky, and the quirkiness made her a memorable character. I would actually say Luna Lovegood was a stronger character. Of the female characters in Harry Potter, I would say the strongest was probably a toss-up between Bellatrix and Luna, if I would argue which characters were the strongest. Hey, what's up, Stephanie? Welcome to the stream. We're actually just talking about like popular characters. Who is your like? Do you have any favorite popular characters you want to throw into the ring? We've got like we have a good little collection here. Let's see what. Yeah, we actually we have a good. Let's see what I got. So I got. Make my screen bigger for a second. So I got Darth Vader, Gandalf, Voldemort, Draco Malfoy, Superman, Spider-Man, Captain Kirk, Spock, Miss Marple, Sherlock Holmes, Dorian Gray, Uhura, Eleven from Stranger Things, Elle from Last of Us, Bellatrix Lestrange. Then add Luna Lovegood. Let's see. I think I missed some others. The waitress from Cheers. My brother-in-law is like a huge Cheers fan. I've been watching a lot. Wonder Woman, great. Wonder Woman. That actress, I forgot her name, did a really good job with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, really good. Let's see what else. You mentioned Golden Girls are great characters. Absolutely. What else do we got? Ron's mom was pretty badass. Oh yeah, she absolutely was. I think that's why that like moment when she kills Bellatrix in the end was it was a very rewarding moment. It was done very well. All moms, yeah, absolutely. All moms are badass. It was like my absolutely agreed. Bridget Jones. Bridget Jones was a good character. Bridget Jones brings me back. Bridget Jones's Diary. Absolutely. Stephanie, that's actually a really good one. So Harley Quinn is another great example of creating a character with a quirk. Harley Quinn. Absolutely. Harley Quinn is a great example of a quirk, of like a quirky, cool character, right? Sometimes we form characters based off like a quirk, and that's like the thing that we remember about them. Thanks for calling this. Not all moms are badasses. BoJack Horseman's mom is the worst. You're like, just to clarify. I think I've only seen like one or two episodes of BoJack, but I've heard it's a pretty funny show. Of that like animated style of like show. I would say the ones that I watched were probably Futurama, maybe some American Dad, and then Rick and Morty. When I think about that, like adult animated. Awesome. Well, we have like a really great. There's like a really great list. Yeah, Professor McGonagall was a great character. I She was strong. I think I would still argue that Bellatrix and Luna were just stronger characters. Right. If only we could use a wand magic. If only we could all go to Hogwarts. Yeah, wow. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We got 20 pop culture characters spread throughout some pretty good times. We have some a mix of some good modern ones along with a mix of some more classic ones as well. The reason I thought today, right, would be good to touch upon like popular characters because when we're working on our own characters, whether that's we're still developing them or whether or not we're writing them, I always like to think of what about this character is going to work. And then I think back to other characters that I like, characters that I'm inspired by. Why did those characters work? I think a lot of the characters that we touched on here are really great examples of like we remember them for a reason. Maybe we remember them because of the things that they did, because their quirkiness, or maybe we remember them because of specific things that they've said, which are like infamous quotes by now. Maybe remember them based off the way that they look. But these are absolutely great things to keep in mind when working on your own characters. I always love touching on doing character development. Marcel, I've never heard of that character, Rarity Mip from Friendship is Magic. I haven't seen that. She's a melodramatic diva with class integrity and plenty of badass moments too. That's cool. That's cool. I would definitely have to check her out. I do have to say, as a writer, if there's one thing that I love names and I love unique names. So a character named Rarity Mip, like that name already has me intrigued. And I'm like, what? I need to like know who is Rarity Mip. Like that as a name itself is intriguing and fascinating to me. So Friends is a good call out, right? So I think what Friends did well was Friends popularized the coffee shop comedy, and they created scenarios that everybody wanted to have those scenarios, right? They created that idea and that mindset of, oh, you know what? I want to go hang out with a group of friends and we can just have these fun adventures, and there's some hot guys and some really cute girls, and there's like a mix. There'll be some great relationships, great laughs, great scenario, and it all happens your local coffee shop. Friends did a very good job of popularizing and really setting off that genre. I would argue that the later day example of Friends was Big Bang Theory. Did something very similar with a bunch of nerds as a friend group, get together, have laughs, relationships, um, try to be smart, and so on and so forth. Absolutely. And I think what's interesting with Friends is television actors don't always hit a level of mainstream success after the television series ends. The majority of the Friends actors did very, very well in their careers since Friends ended. And I would say most of those actors I've seen in some way, shape, or form over the past decade. Right. Yeah, just Rarity. Well, I mean, I think Rarity is a cool name. I meant to say from MLP, from My Little Pony. It's interesting. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen My Little Pony, but I know there's like a whole like niche and culture out there for the bronies. It's a whole thing. I think of like the youngest animated type series that I enjoyed was probably Adventure Time. Adventure Time, like absolutely loved it because I love the adventure and the quirkiness of it, of that world 100%. Marta, you're like completely different style. No Big Bang Theory. Chandler definitely defined a lot of my dry, sarcastic sense of humor. I think a lot of the Chandler and Joey quotes absolutely did a lot that were definitely to be commended. Yeah, if we think about cartoons like Bugs Bunny is absolutely an iconic character. Um, yeah, yeah, 100%. When you think about those like those main the main was that Looney Tunes? Those main like Looney Tune characters, Daffy Duck, the Daredevil, I'm like trying to remember the Tasmanian Devil. I'm like, it's been a while. Absolutely. Those are like once again other characters. Just because they're in an animated style doesn't make them any less or more. They're just characters told in a different storytelling format. Oh man. Well, I absolutely hands down love all the character fun that we got going on here. All right. Well, thank y'all for joining for some like character deep dives. I feel like we actually got like a really good list. I think what I'll do is I'm going to save the list and we'll build upon this. We'll continue to build upon like best characters on a future character fiction Fridays. So if you're enjoying this stream and if you like get value out of this, don't forget tap that follow and subscribe button. I live stream every single day because I'm crazy. I challenge myself to write for 30 minutes a day. So that's what I'm doing. I live stream Kauffman Writes Monday through Friday, where it's like informal workshops. And we kind of like workshops and then writing sprints. Saturdays, tomorrow, which is actually going to be a great plug. Tomorrow is the story and critique show. So let's say that you're a writer and you need feedback on your work. Send an excerpt of your story to this email, thecreativeghostwriter@gmail.com, for tomorrow's show. I have about, I think like 6 to 9 submissions for tomorrow's show. So like send it sooner so I can like try to get to it tomorrow. So send the submission. It's a great show. So definitely make sure to drop by if you want to just listen to me have a lot of fun reading different stories and then providing some really great critiques. And then Sunday, we have an exciting episode 3 of the Creative Right Now podcast, where I will be interviewing a very well-published author. And we're going to be chatting about how do you network with writers, editors, and publishers. So Sunday's episode is going to be a lot of fun. So definitely stay tuned for this weekend, because this is we got a good weekend ahead of us. Marcella, do you read graphic novel or comic scripts? I haven't had any graphic novels or comic scripts submitted yet, but I would absolutely love to. I would 100% love to. If you want to send like an excerpt of a graphic novel, I think graphic novels would actually work very well for a live stream format, in all honesty, because of the visual side of it. Predominantly what I accept any type of writing. The only type of writing I can't do live is probably anything that would be too much of a pornographic nature. I think that might be the only thing I would probably get in trouble for. But I think outside of that, I've generally accepted any type of genre. I tend to get short stories. I usually tend to get short stories. The most popular genres tend to be a mix of fantasy, sci-fi, and thriller. I've gotten poetry before. I get scripts sometimes because I have a huge background in screenwriting. I was a screenwriter for 10 years. So I do it all. And I do graphic novels are fun. Well, I personally don't inherently read a lot of graphic novels myself. I'm a much bigger fan of anime. So I've definitely experienced my share of graphic novel type content before, hands down. Is it for today? It's for tomorrow's show, Martin. For tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow's show. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Dan? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. It's always impressed with your tenacity, always putting yourself out there and seeing things through. Hope this new chapter has been going well. Thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, today is what, day 120 of me live streaming. It's been a journey. It has been quite a journey, let me tell you. I feel successful simply because I've been able to show up consistently, and I'm grateful that I pushed myself to do this. It's been a learning experience, and I think one of the coolest things that I've gotten out of it was being able to connect with a lot of you and being able to like meet so many different types of writers that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to. In the last 10 years of my life, I was involved in a lot of writers groups. And now that I'm not really able to like be in writers groups physically, being able to kind of connect with writers from around the world is kind of like opening up my mind just to different styles of writing and just different needs. So really, really cool. Thank you. Let's see. It's not visual yet. I'm finishing up the script. Then I'm going to figure out how to panel it and tell the story more visually. Yeah. So if you're still on like the written portion, I could go through that as well. And knowing that it's a graphic novel, I could take that into consideration when for the feedback that I give. Right. So then I would probably alter the way, however I respond to whatever needs to be improved and what works based on like, okay, well then tell me like what visual things would you imagine seeing with it? And I would tell you like, oh, well, I could visualize like these types of images or these types of panels with it. I think that'd be a lot of fun in all honesty. I like getting a mix of different like styles of writing because I'm a multi format writer. So I tend to write across different formats. Right now, my story, Last Scarecrow, is a novel. It's a fantasy fiction novel. But my catalog is arranged between novels, short stories, scripts, and a little bit of poetry. And I say scripts with both for the screen, for television, and for the stage. So I tend to have a mix. As such, I like to always see different styles across different varieties and mediums. Uh, Let's see. Can I send the ending of my story one page, or you prefer to read the whole one later? Here, I would need advice how to make the ending longer than just one page. Yeah, I mean, Marta, you can absolutely send over whatever you would like. What I always recommend to people is whatever you send me whatever you need the most help with, right? So like it's for me, it's more I enjoy just the overall experience of being able to like join you in your writing journey. But yeah, if you need help with the last page, then send that over. Absolutely. And then like for those of you who've joined us on previous critique shows, you know that like I'll provide feedback and then the community here, they've been like really cool as well. There's a lot who like join in helping out with some really great feedback and commentary. And we're creating this like really cool kind of like writers workshop ish type community, which is super cool, super fun. Let's see, can I see the Atomic? Are you going to post your show times? I thought you were going to be on at 5 Pacific time. I don't see the times on your Facebook page anymore. Yeah, I should probably fix that. With the new banner, actually, let me pull up my Facebook page. With the new banner, yeah, it's Atomic. I'm sorry about that. It's because I had to adjust my schedule with some different times this week. Yeah, I moved the times away because the YouTube banner it wouldn't fit on the YouTube. But I think for Facebook, I'll probably put them back up. But essentially, like I had to do some time changes for the past couple of shows, but I think generally speaking, the 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is 4 p.m. Pacific, generally seems to be my go-to Monday through Friday. And I don't think I'm really planning on changing that. I guess maybe I should do like a survey at some point and see if everyone likes the time. But the time has seemed to serve well. Saturdays is always at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Yeah, Saturdays will stay the same because that format works. Sundays, the times will change based on the guest that I have. I try to stick it to the afternoon, but because I have guests from all over the world, sometimes the time can go all over the place. Thanks for asking though, Atomic. I'll update the time on my Facebook page. That's a really good call out. Thanks for reminding me. But yeah, and then tomorrow I'll be up on at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. So tomorrow critique show will be at 2 p.m. Oh, thanks, Marta. I appreciate it. Hey, what's up, Orfel? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We actually just had like a really great like deep dive into like character development. And like we came up with a good list of like 20 really popular characters. I'll throw up the list one more time for you guys because it's actually super cool. No, we don't want that. We came up with a list of like really popular characters today. Let's see, Darth Vader, Gandalf, Voldemort, Draco Malfoy, Superman, Spider-Man, Captain Kirk, Spock, Miss Marple, Sherlock Holmes, Dorian Gray, Uhura, Eleven, Elle, Bellatrix, Luna, Wonder Woman, Golden Girls, Bridget Jones, Harley Quinn, and many more. So make sure that if you missed the first half of this stream, that you can actually go back and watch it on the replay. Absolutely. We had some really great conversations. It was definitely a cool, fun, little engaging stream. The first like 5 minutes, like my internet sucked, and then the rest of it's been fine. So let's see, Dunwood. Let's see, Den. We went to college together. Not sure if you remember Dennis and Tim. Oh yeah, I remember. I remember you, Dennis. Absolutely, like long time no chat. I know I always see your stuff online every once in a while. Especially when I think about like my college days and I think about a lot of the college friends. I would say there's a number of you guys who are just like I see your stuff online over time, just like I wish you well, and I hope life's treating you well. Aw, and Tammy. Yes. I was friends with you guys for such like a brief period in my college life, but you guys were both absolutely great. Aw. Dennis, please tell Tammy hi if you guys are still friends. It's been a while since I've seen Tammy either. Brings me back to the college days. Wow, how much I have grown. Man, in college I was immature AF. Oof. I didn't even like get through like my first like real maturity phase for me till like probably like mid later into college. But then I was just like extremely immature, extremely mature. I just like clearly that was the path for me. And since then try to be on a journey of self-awareness. But you know, it's life. Life's a journey for sure. Let's see, Marta. Today I was in a place where you can leave the books you don't need anymore and you can take the ones you like for free. I left 6 ones and took 8 new ones. That's awesome. That actually sounds like a really good strategy if your bookcase is piling up with books that you're just not going to read anytime soon. That's good. Hopefully the ones that you picked are some good you got some good reading material on your hands. I have such a respect for librarians and libraries because like reading is so easy now in the digital age because it's all on the screen. But there is something about going to a library, working in a library, reading hard copy books. There is something very unique about that experience that is very rewarding. And I wouldn't say it's any less than or any more than reading like a digital book. I love reading a book on my phone at any time because it's easy, it's quick, and I can enjoy the story when I want to. But I also enjoy cracking open a hardcover book in a library. Absolutely great experience. Let's see. Ah, the old days, huh? We don't talk these days. I remember puking you in the back of my Corvette to get eat at a party. That sounds about right. I was glad to see you doing well, man. Also, might send you a DM about selling a book project if you don't mind. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Just feel free to send me a message on Facebook and we can chat more. Um, I guess this is probably a good time that I should actually advertise my business. So the www. Actually, I'll throw it in the comments. The Creative Ghost. So, by the way, for those of you who don't know, pudding. I'm glad you clarified pudding. I'm pretty sure there's a time where I probably puked in the backseat of a car too, so I wouldn't be surprised. By the way, if you're new to me and you don't know what I got going on, you can actually check out more about my services. For my website, my company, the Creative Ghost LLC. I offer coaching services, so I work with writers to help fast track their stories. I also offer editing services where I'm actually a really good, pretty good. I mean, you guys see me on the Saturday Critique Show, so you see my editing services live. And then I also offer a ghostwriting services. So those tend to be the 3 categories that clients will generally hire me for. I just threw the website in the chat, so definitely go check out if you want to know more about what I do or more about my background. I also just updated my about me, my bio on there, and I'm like, it feels like a Wikipedia article, really, really fresh. So I thought that would be a good call out. Let's see. And then Mommy Tell, you were mentioning little free libraries are popping up all over. Our library has a monthly book sale also. Yeah, I think it's because the libraries is like it's another type of industry that will always be there. It's just smaller. Same like newspapers. Newspapers will always exist. It's just a small industry, right? As new things come out, they kind of like sometimes they lose precedence, but they don't disappear. They're just the need for them changes. I prefer reading a book and paper. You know what? I used to as well. I used to prefer reading paper books only. I think what changed for me was when I wanted to read in environments where lighting sucked, being able to look at the screen on my phone made me like realize that I was like, yeah, that's great. And then like what I do is if I'm reading a book, I'll read it when I'm sit down to read, but then I'll also split between listening to the audiobook. So I love going back and forth so then I can listen to it whether I'm actually reading or whether I'm like driving or something. Absolutely. So we really great conversations though. By the way, thank you all for joining me in the stream. Super active Friday. By the way, I hope you got some good plans for the weekend. Hope you got some good writing plans. And with that being said, we can't call ourselves writers without a writing sprint. So I think it's that time. We're at about 106. So I'm going to do a 20-minute sprint. So feel free to join me if you want to join in on a writing sprint. I'm going to throw up some music, their normal fantasy music, and you can write along with me. But let's say that you've had a long week and you're just like, you're not feeling super creative right now. Sit back and relax, and you can watch as I'll write like this. All right, and here we go. Oof, so I'm at last. If you guys have been, if you've, whether you've been along with the journey or not, I am just getting through an intense part in my book, Last Scarecrow. I'm about 70% of the way through the book. But where am I? We are on an airtight escape. So like I said, I'm pretty far into the story right now. Right now I have Scarecrow, the skunk, the grizzly bear, the snake, and the pixie. Just escaped this evil magic amongst their newly resurrected friend, Mr. Quilt, aka our magic carpet. All right, let's see. I'm gonna do a 20-minute sprint, not 30. All right, I got 20 minutes on the clock, and it's time right now. Perfect. All right. That was a good writing sprint. All right. Awesome. So that was an excellent writing sprint. I definitely got some good stuff done on my end. I hope you were able to maybe get a little writing, editing, or brainstorming done on yours. And excellent. So that was a really great stream we had today. Definitely make sure you check out the first half if you missed out on the discussion and the conversation for creative writing on the morrow. Don't forget, tomorrow is the story and critique show. So make sure to send your submission of your story if you want it read to the creative ghostwriter at gmail.com, as I'm still accepting submissions and seeing what I can get through. So looking forward to that tomorrow at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Don't miss out. And that is all that I got for you today, friends. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kauffman, and I'll catch you on the morrow.